Now to another African country at loggerheads with the United States. That's South Africa. Tensions are escalating between Washington and Pretoria, and yes, Trump is at the centre of it again. On Thursday, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa dismissed Trump's threat to exclude Pretoria from next year's G20. He told reporters South Africa is a founding and full member of the G20, not a guest to be invited. He also went on to say they expect to be treated equally and with respect.
The United States has said that South Africa will not be invited. We have not seen it in writing yet and are yet to receive an invitation. We'll deal with that when it comes. We're a full-fledged member of G20, and we have held a very successful G20. All we want really is to be treated as an equal sovereign country.
The US, now holding the G20 presidency, has officially barred South Africa from participating in all G20 events during its tenure. On Wednesday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio reiterated Trump's earlier statement. On his Substack account, he condemned South Africa for what he called radical agendas, alleging discrimination against the white Afrikaner minority. South Africa's Foreign Minister, Ronald Lamola, responded to Rubio's accusations in an open letter. He defended policies aimed at redressing apartheid-era inequalities. Lamola said Pretoria does not seek Washington's approval, but extends a hand for respectful partnership. South Africa's presidential spokesman said Pretoria is ready to skip all 2026 G20 events. South Africa will resume full participation when Britain takes over in 2027. Until then, he said, and I quote, "We're taking a commercial break until we resume normal programming." This standoff didn't start today. Trump has been hammering Pretoria for months. He's accused the South African government of racism against white Afrikaners, even alleging claims of a so-called white genocide numerous times since taking office.
Terrible things are happening in South Africa. The leadership is doing some terrible things, horrible things. So that's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination. And until such time as we find out what South Africa is doing, they're taking away land, they're confiscating land, and actually they're doing things that are perhaps far worse than that.
And these claims have been dismissed by South African courts and the president himself.
Donald Trump made a statement to the effect that South Africa would not be invited to participate in the G20 in the United States. He repeated untrue statements about genocide against Afrikaners and the confiscation of land from white people in our country.
And this dispute is about much more than just next year's G20 in Miami. Earlier this year, the Trump administration expelled South Africa's ambassador. They have already imposed 30% tariffs on key trade goods. Now, financial aid cutbacks threaten programs critical to fighting AIDS and economic development. The diplomatic standoff also highlights the growing role of Britain, which will host the G20 in 2027. Analysts predict that the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer might act as a mediator to ease tensions between Washington and Pretoria.
Prime Minister Starmer, again, if he's still around, he's going to probably be the middleman in this situation to try to be able to say, listen, South Africa, count me as part of your trioca, which is to say, if you need anything with regards to this, let me manage that interplay so that this thing doesn't blow up as a whole.
This conflict between Washington and Pretoria is more than a diplomatic battle. The Trump administration's hardline stance risks isolating a key African nation. And at a time when multipolar cooperation is more critical than ever, it remains to be seen how South Africa asserts itself on the world stage despite this mounting pressure.
I rose from the army with medals on my chest. I spoke of freedom from colonial chains, but I tightened my own. I filled prisons with ghosts. Nearly 500,000 people were butchered under my rule, and I trusted only my paranoia. I gave myself grand titles. I claimed to be Africa's strongman. History calls me something else, the dictator. Who am I?